Alright, everybody. So, if you're someone like me who likes guns, I love guns, I own a couple myself, and I'm not very in favor of the more commonly recited anti-gun talking points by the rest of the left. Very commonly, people advocate for assault weapons bans, which means literally anything. Assault weapons is not a real classification for firearms, so if an assault weapons quote-unquote ban were to pass, the guns that ban would entail would be whatever the politicians who passed the bill decide they would be, which is kind of a scary thought, especially because assault weapons bans that have passed in many states, including my own state of Washington, ban all semi-auto rifles. Like, all of them. And, like, SMGs and stuff. So, you literally can't buy an AR-15 here anymore. Now, criminals still have them. They'll still use them for terror attacks, school shootings. I mean, the right already has all their grandfathered-in guns up in the mountains and stuff, so that changes nothing. It's only the more progressive people who, under COVID, have seen a massive spike in Democrats buying guns who are going to be affected by these restrictions on gun purchases. Now, the right, I'm sure, does not mind this, considering Trump never did anything to support gun owners and to support gun rights. He passed the bump stock ban. He, did nothing to stop the assault weapons bans all across the country. He doesn't give a shit. Trump and the Republicans do not really care at all whatsoever about gun rights. They'll virtue signal about it because it's a very popular thing in America to be pro-gun. In fact, being anti-gun is one of the biggest things holding the Democratic Party back. But all that aside, I could rant about this forever. If you watch gun content, you are no doubt familiar with Brandon Herrera, the king of gun YouTube. At least the modern-day king of gun YouTube. Before him, the undisputed king was FPS Russia. Unfortunately, a little incident involving marijuana and the ATF led to him no longer being able to own guns anymore and having to make friends with a guy named Snow in a federal prison camp in Alabama for 60 days. 60 days. So, yeah. That's not a thing anymore. There's no more FPS Russia, sadly. Now we have Brandon Herrera. Now, I'm gonna be honest. I like a fair amount of Brandon Herrera's content. I think I'm subbed. Yeah, I'm subscribed, even with the bell icon rung. Because I'll admit, I like a fair amount of his content, most notably the Darwin Awards videos, because there's no way that seeing a million different ways that handling a firearm poorly can get you hurt doesn't ingrain vital gun safety protocols into your mind, you know? So, he's pretty good when it comes to, the gun safety videos, the Darwin Awards and stuff and all that kind of stuff, but more recently, he's really gotten worse, as you can see. He's kind of gone down the whole, anti-woke rabbit hole. He's friends with Matt Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor Greene and has taken photos with them and endorses them. All the while, he criticizes people for being, quote-unquote, obsessed with politics or into politics or whatever. Which is hilarious when you consider the fact that this isn't just some guy who shoots guns on YouTube. He is now running for Congress in Texas. We're at the point now where conservative YouTubers are running for Congress, and yet they're still using the "I just don't like when people make stuff political" argument. There really is no limit. Now, it wasn't just this whole, going right-wing culture war arc that put me off with Brandon Herrera. What really did it, initially, was his personality. Let me go ahead and show you.
What is up, you?
Ugh, God, that's loud. Let me show you just a clip of a Brandon Herrera video, and I feel like you're going to understand very quickly that there's something about this guy's presentation that doesn't really come off as genuine, if that makes sense. It almost feels like he's playing a character way more than most YouTubers do. He is really hamming up his presentation character for the camera in a way that feels weird, like just unnatural when you actually pay attention to it. Let me show you an example.
But there is a small armed conflict in a little-known Eastern European country known as Ukraine. At least, you should know that, especially if you are an American taxpayer. Anyhow, the 2022 Ukraine...
Obviously, he's very pro-Russia, against us giving any weapons to Ukraine. The hilarious thing is, obviously, we are not giving tax dollars to Ukraine. What we are giving to Ukraine are surplus weaponry, munitions, and vehicles, which once we get rid of them out of our backlog, our storage, that leaves space for us to produce new, modern, better weaponry, which makes new jobs for the American industrial complex of war. But those are still American jobs, which right-wingers should be in favor. They're stupid. They're very dumb. They're very dumb. Besides that, this guy, kind of an idiot, obviously. Right-wing conservative, sure, right? Not really much to talk about there. Not really that much of a bombshell, right? Well, I kind of let that pass. But recently, I was scrolling through Twitter, and I saw something. A video or two showed up in my feed that really caught my eye, and I couldn't help but retweet and share it. The first video, these are from Stephen Monacelli, or Monacelli. The first one is not that much of a bombshell. I feel like some of these are less extreme than others. Saying, is it normal for Texas congressional candidate Brandon Herrera to have cosplayed as a Rhodesian soldier and expressed opinions about the Rhodesian-Bush War that appear sympathetic to the white supremacist settler colonialists who imposed racial minority rule? To be fair, this one probably went over the heads of 99% of people who saw it.
Dope is this mustache, which I felt obligated to do for Rhodesian LARP, of course. Ladies and gentlemen, the Rhodesian FAL, or FAL. This is a .308 battle rifle that is very, very commonly associated with the Rhodesian Bush War. That war, of course, being the Zimbabwean conflict from 1964 to 1976, in which it was basically a civil war between, the Dutch people of that area and the locals and/or communists. I am radically oversimplifying that war for time's sake. This is a gun video and not a political breakdown that would take half an hour, because pretty much no matter what kind of take you have on that, someone will hate you for it. But long story short...
Notice how he plays off, having a bad take on something as, no matter what opinion you have on this issue, someone will hate you for it. And does this, weird, over-exaggerated dude bro character. You could tell that he's acting, right? Everything about his personality he's presenting is a character. You'll find out why I mean that in a moment.
The side that was sympathetic with communism won, and now Zimbabwe doesn't have food. Dope is...
Very good. Now, this is the clip that really caught my eye and maybe decide to make this whole segment. This is an old clip of Brandon Herrera. One that I do not think comes from his YouTube channel. In fact, I think it comes from a website or YouTube channel for an association that he worked for when he was younger. And you are not going to believe what that association is and what they do, and what he says in this ad for it. Is it normal for Texas congressional candidate Brandon Herrera to have described the Civil War as the War of Northern Aggression while wearing a shirt with a Confederate flag on it? It's a little crazier than that.
Hi there, I'm
yes,
Brandon
this
Herrera
is him.
with Fayetteville Arsenal Camp number 168, and welcome to the SCV. The SCV, or the Sons of Confederate Veterans, is a historical honor society dedicated to preserving Confederate heritage and learning more about our ancestors who fought and died in the War of Northern Aggression. The SCV is open to any male over the age of 12 years old who has an ancestor who fought in the Confederate Army.
So yes, that is a Confederate flag, and that is him talking about the Civil War being the War of Northern Aggression, and the glory of being a descendant of a Southern Civil War veteran, and glorifying the Confederacy. That is him working for a pro-Confederacy, Confederate glorification like company. I don't even know what, a society, like a Confederacy fan club. I don't even know. You can tell it's him too. Like it's a very much younger him.
Hi there, I'm Brandon Herrara with Fayetteville Arsenal Camp number 1.
You can hear this is his actual voice too. Like this is his actual voice. You can see he's got facial hair. He's like in his early 20s here. His voice has not changed or dropped that much. This guy has done voice training, taken like testosterone replacement therapy or something for his working out, and a bunch of other stuff in order to make himself come off as more of a dude bro in his more current content. It's hilarious seeing this guy in an old video acting relatively normal, and then seeing him now playing a completely different character. Maybe I'll respond to that, Onion Anon. It's really interesting to me that this is the kind of stuff that this guy has gotten up to in his past. Now, if you're wondering, well, what kind of company does this guy keep? Well, I find that Brandon Herrara is a really good litmus test for people's associations. Now, there are some exceptions, of course, but there's a community. A lot of it is just most of the YouTube gun community, but many other people outside of it who are existing in this hiding in plain sight of being far-right pundits. Brandon Herrara is one of them, as is Wendigoon, as is, to an extent, Sam Hyde. The three of them are, of course, friends. Here's the video. Day. We hosted the biggest YouTuber range day ever. Now, no hate. A lot of YouTubers went here, and I even know somebody who went to this range day. But, I mean, here's Sam Hyde. Here's Brandon Herrara. I mean, Sam Hyde's whole thing is like, saying slurs and being, like, edgy. So, I mean, he's basically Filthy Frank, but it's not ironic. Yeah, I mean, he's probably the least problematic person that's there. There's an interesting selection of people here, but I feel like this will give you a good idea of who is in this, like, weird right-wing, normie-friendly YouTuber clout sphere. This is the biggest YouTuber range day ever.
Range day ever. So somebody's landing in a helicopter, and I don't know if we have a landing site for that or not. I think we're about to figure it the fuck out, though.
A lot of these people are millionaires bringing, like, $1 million guns to this range.
I hope not.
They circled, like, several times. They didn't know where they were.
Is there any gun content online that isn't super far right? Very few, and it's very low budget. The problem with making gun content is it's fucking expensive. Guns are really expensive, and you either need to have access to a large amount of guns that you can just use for videos, or own a bunch of guns, and that costs a ton of money. So, running a lefty gun channel is practically impossible. There are no lefties, besides maybe Hassan and Vosh, on the internet that make enough money to afford to do that. I would like to do that, but I have to make way more money. Like, what am I going to do? Make, like, a video on my Glock, a video on my .22 rifle, and a video on my backup 9mm pistol? My Ruger? Like, what am I going to do? I mean, I guess I could blow some stuff up in a video. Like, just strap some tannerite to a TV, go out to an outdoor range, and blow it up. But, I don't even know if that's legal. I'd have to look. The problem is you need a good camera. You need guns, which are expensive. You need bullets, which are expensive. You need, like, stuff to destroy that's interesting, because no one's just going to watch you shoot paper all day and talk about guns. It's not entertaining. You have to blow something up or explode something in an interesting way. My go-to target for outdoor ranges are onions. Onions are, like, $2, $3 for a bag. And, you know, you just shoot an onion, and if it's a straight-on perfect shot with a 9mm, the onion will explode. There will be nothing left of it. But if you wing it, it'll chip away. Like, and it'll make a big pop. Like, you'll see a lot come off of it. You'll know if you hit it, but it'll still be intact if you winged it or didn't get a perfect shot on center mass. But if you hit center mass, it explodes and nothing is left, and you immediately know that was a good shot. But if it's still there, and just chipped away a bit, you know that wasn't a good shot. I mean, it hit, but it didn't hit, you know? Regardless, it's just sad to see that the conservative, like, gun YouTube is so conservative. And these are not just gun YouTubers either. You're going to notice a lot of YouTubers outside of the gun sphere at this event. Wendigoon, for example.
We're just going to keep to the core rules of gun safety. Treat every gun here like it's loaded, because most of them are. Know your target and what's behind it. In that case, that means keep everything on the burn.
I do appreciate, they're doing the gun safety talk to a bunch of gun people. They all know. Everyone's standing there and listening anyway, and they're absorbing it, because as much as I have a lot of criticism for these guys, I've never seen any of them fuck around when it comes to gun safety and do anything irresponsible or stupid, at least on camera, you know?
Berm, nothing goes over the berm. Keep your finger off the trigger till you're ready to shoot. That means gun is loaded and on target. And never point your weapon at anything you're not willing to destroy, which hopefully includes other people. If you guys stick to those 4 rules, everybody's gonna have a good time and leave with as many holes as they came with.
Welcome to Demolition Ranch.
I would have yelled right away, "No rapid fire!" I would have been like the least popular guy at that fucking event if I did that. Anyway. Feels like the bar's on the ground. Yeah, man, I really do want to get into making gun content, because guns really are one of my passions, and it's such a shame to me that, like, anybody who has an interest in guns is very quickly going to fall down a rabbit hole of right-wing politics, right? Like, you're basically finding the biggest right-wing, like, the biggest gun channel on YouTube, and then immediately, upon watching one of his gun videos, the next thing you recommended is going to be the woke Bud Light scandal, you know? So yeah. I mean, I'm hoping that in the future I can get into gun content, but it's going to be on a separate channel. I do not want YouTube suppression of gun content to affect this YouTube channel, so it'll be on, like, a separate IRL vlogging-oriented channel in the future, maybe. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'll have, like, 3 channels. Who knows? Who knows? We're gonna be pumping out content in the future. I love making content. It's my favorite. In fact, if you want to see some of this content, consider dropping a like. Maybe even subscribe and ring the bell icon. Every single like really does go a long way. So smash that thumbs up button like it's your crush. You know, like the girl of your dreams is finally giving you the time of day, and smash that like button like it's her. Or him, you know, maybe it's the femboy of your dreams, right? So, also, if you want to support me financially, you can always do so by donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or supporting me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, or Patreon. And you can also join my Discord server. We do watch parties and call-in streams and stuff there. It's really cool. Definitely join there. I also do notifications for all my content, so you won't miss it. And yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed your stay.